Welcome to We Make Children's Books, a podcast that takes us through the imaginative minds of children's books authors and artists. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com. We're honored to have with us the internationally celebrated children's book author of the Grandma's Storytime Adventures, Sophia Brown. Sophia.
Barney, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I truly appreciate the opportunity to share my journey, and I admire how you spotlight storytellers with such passion and insight. It's an honor to be a part of your amazing show today. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a really good introduction, and I don't think we can top it. So thank you for joining me. No, so this is great. So I know, so you have, as we mentioned, Grandma's Storytime has you, as of now, you have 4 books out there, 4 books out so far.
Tongue twister.
Yes, your Grandma's Storytime here. So I guess like the first question that I want to ask you, as we get started is, so can you tell us about the moment when you first discovered your passion for writing children's books and how your grandchild inspired you to begin this journey?
Wow. You know what? When I'm asked this question, I get chills because it takes me back to the moment when my husband and I learned that one of our daughters, we have 3 children, was having a baby. I was excited. When my grandson arrived, it was just the most precious thing ever. Words cannot describe the feeling that I felt just looking into his eyes, holding him, just a little tiny little baby. It was just, I'm his grandmother. It was just a beautiful experience. And with that, I would read books to him every single night, and I never missed a night. And we just connected more, we bonded more. It was just a beautiful experience. And with that, actually sparked the passion for me to want to write children's books.
So how did becoming a grandmother change your perspective on storytelling and the importance of reading to children?
Reading was definitely important in my household, and my husband and I passed that down to our children as well. And I wanted to continue that with my grandchildren because it's super important. It's, the old saying is reading is fundamental, right? So I wanted to continue to instill those values into the next generation. I felt that was very important. And that journey was just beautiful. And I wanted to contribute to be able to write books that families could actually use and read to their children to create that bond around story time, the importance of reading. And I saw how his development was, even though he was a baby, but I knew he was listening to me. And it came a point in time as he got, older and months, he was looking forward to our story time together. And I believe the reading really helped develop him mentally. He is super smart. He speaks so well. And I feel a part of that was through the reading as well. I think it just opens up a part of the brain, in a child, especially at an early age. And yeah, it's wonderful.
So what do you find most magical about the connection between storytelling and the family bonds?
Creating memories with the children, definitely. That's super important. All while instilling the values of reading, all at the same time.
Walk us through your process on how you write children's books, either, starting off from the idea generation to the complete piece.
Okay, well, my books, I have a collection. The collection is actually named after my first 3 grandchildren. I have a total of 4 now.
Okay.
Yes, the fourth one is 8 months old. So actually, he's going to be added into the collection in my next series of books. But
Huh.
the process for me to, with me writing my books, was actually based off of my experiences with my grandchildren. So obviously, for example, my very first book, I'm going to be a grandma. That joy of getting the news and how it affected me and my family's just a joyous occasion. It was just so easy for me to just to write about it because I lived it.
Now, so I'm going to be a grandma. Is this a book for grandmothers to read their children, or is this so? Is this basically a children's book for grandmas?
Actually, this is a children's book for grandparents and parents to be able to
Okay,
read to the little ones
right,
at bedtime, story time. However,
right.
you wanna say it, but it's books written by a grandma for the little ones.
When you found out you're going to be a grandmother, what was that impetus? Because tons of emotions and ideas come to a new grandmother's mind of all the things you do.
Yeah,
This is fairly unique, is that there rarely is somebody who says, I'm going to be a grandmother, I'm going to make a children's book about this. Like, how did that process go from I'm being a grandmother to let me make a children's book about this? Like, how did, because you don't have a history like this was your first children's book that you made, right?
very first book,
Yeah. So
very
how
first book.
why did you just why was that process? Like, what did that
You know,
come
it
to
was
do that?
it was that's a good question. It was just like you said, the
Right.
excitement and the build up actually inspired me to want to put how I felt in a book form.
Okay.
To be able to share that with parents, with grandmothers, grandfathers, to be able to read those stories to their little ones. Just the
Hmm.
whole excitement. It's I've always heard before I became a grandmother, I would hear grandmothers say, "You'll never know what it feels like to be a grandmother. It's just on a different level, more so than being a parent. Not that you do not love your children. I mean, of course, that's a no-brainer. I never really understood that until I became a grandmother. It's
Hmm.
just it's just on a totally different level being a grandmother. I mean, just take one small thing, for example, how a lot of people say the grandchildren, they can do things that they couldn't do when they were little growing up. Their parents wouldn't let them maybe stay up a little late or eat snacks at a certain time or jump on the couch, stuff like that. But the grandmother will let the grandchildren do it. So it's just a totally different experience, and it's it's
Right.
it's a beautiful experience. And like I said, I just
So
wanted to share those precious moments because I know there's other grandmothers out there too that feels the same way as me. And I
right.
I want I wanted to have a book that grandmothers could share that with their little ones.
So there are some the other creative question is like there are literally hundreds of thousands of animals out there, but you chose to have the represent yourself as a bear. So what was the decision making of being a bear?
Actually, the illustrator that I actually work with, we went back and forth with a lot of different um, characters. And in the beginning, I actually wanted the characters to represent their nicknames. For example, I wanted Peanut to be shaped like a peanut and Popcorn to be shaped like a popcorn. And my illustrator said, absolutely not. I'm not gonna let you do that. You're gonna, regret that. So just, going going back, looking at like, past stories, past books, cartoons, Little Bill, a lot of those different stories. They were bear characters,
Okay.
and I felt that that would be a good way to illustrate the characters.
Right. Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. Uh, Folks have never written a children's book before think writing a children's book is super easy because it's less words, it's less thing, but it's really complicated to write a children's book. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you learned from your first and second book that you've been able to utilize in, say, your fourth book and also your fifth book? How has your evolution of your storytelling technique happened?
I would definitely say just not rushing things,
Mm,
taking your time, um, check check again, double check, have other people, check things and have someone check them too. You want to make sure what you're putting out is something that you're going to be proud of and that you'll be happy about. And of course, at the same time you have to learn how to let things go, which was hard for me to do, especially with my first two books. But you do have to just give birth to whatever it is you're working on and let it go out into the world. And of course, we should be able to evolve and improve and get better, as time goes by. And I feel that's what I've been able to do with each book. But I would definitely say just taking that time and just making sure everything, all of the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted and everything. So just want to make sure everything is done correctly and that you're
mm,
satisfied with what you're putting out.
right.
And get
Now,
opinions, from from strangers. I would say more so than like people that if you're able to print out your books and pass them out to people and see what they think. I think that'll be very helpful.
right. Now, when you're with your grandchildren, are you there? Are you purely there in grandma mode, or are you also wearing your children's book author hat a bit? Or are you doing something's happy, like, oh, I got to write this down. This is going to make a great book. Or how do you balance
You know
yourself
what,
being grandma and mother?
you are nailing it. Yes, it's so funny. Um, my granddaughter, I have three grandsons and a granddaughter. So she's a princess of the family. She was trying on my clothes. I think that's something that like all of the kids, all of the girls do for some reason. And she had my shoes on, and I said, you know what? That's a book. I took a picture of her, and I'm like, that's a book. So I mean, yes, they give me ideas all the time. Like I'm constantly grabbing my phone, just taking notes on certain things. Maybe they'll say something or do something, and I'll just like, you know what? That sounds like a book right there. So yeah.
uh, and so also as writing children's book, there always has to be some type of lesson or something that is something that you'll kind of point out at. Is there how easy is it, or what's the complication of um what am I trying to say here? How did you um when you write out the script and get it together, how important is it for you to make sure there's a lesson involved for the child?
Hmm. I think I think that's very important. And in terms of like the lesson, it's definitely about spending time with your family. And it's when I say lesson, it's not just a lesson for the children per se, but it's also for the parents and the
Mm,
grandparents as well. And the lesson would be make every moment count.
mm,
Cherish those moments that you have, with your grandchildren or your children, because it's very important. Take time to read a book to them. My children's books, they are short stories. They can be read in like 3 to 5 minutes or less.
mm,
But I like to just make fun with it, have fun with it with the children. When I read to them, I go into character, play with them, sing songs with them, just, engage them into the stories as well. So it's not just about, reading what's on the words, but just giving them that time, letting them know that you care about them. You're you're investing in them, So I feel that's important to be able to show your children, you know what? I know I've been working all day today, 9 to 5. I had to come home and cook and clean and get ready for the next day. But let's sit down, take your bath, brush your teeth, and now it's our time, you know? I'm going to pour into you. I want you to know that this is important to me. I want to spend this little time with you. We'll read a story together and we'll laugh, we'll talk, we'll just have some, have fun, in the short period of time that we have before it's time for you to go to bed. And it's something that you can continue to do each night. And the child is, they look forward to that every night, so
mm.
yes.
So I noticed too is that like as the books progress, your grandchildren grow older. Is there a point? Are you going to consistently as you write more books? Are your grandchildren going to get older and older as well?
Absolutely. That is my
Yeah.
plan. Yep. Yep.
And so is there going to be a point then you're going to have to like even switch up the genre instead of making them children's books? Are you going to then do like middle grade novels? Are you
Yes.
going to keep
Yes,
going?
I
Are you
am.
really?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
am. It's the books are gonna grow with them. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's exciting. So then even like say, when like they go to like say like medical school or like law school, then you're gonna make these like John Grisham esque like political thrillers and
That's
stuff.
a good idea. Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think that's been done before, so
See, that's exciting. I know it'd be fun just to watch, like as it's just like yeah,
yeah.
as like peanut popcorn and Buddha. And so, what's the nickname for the fourth grandchild?
Munchie.
Munchie. Oh,
Yes.
see, okay, see, yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to Munchie goes to college. Like that's gonna
Oh,
be
you
like the
see?
next.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that.
So you go, yeah, like a popcorn for president. See, there's all
Right.
kinds of things you can do.
Man, we
See.
can we can just keep going on and on and on. So yeah.
So how many books do you put out then? Would do you have a routine where you're putting out at least like one a year, or how is this working?
Yes, well, I actually have a few other books that's going to be released. Two more, well, one more before this year is out, and then the other one the beginning of the new year. And then from there, that's going to complete the peanut, popcorn, and Buddha's collection. And then
Okay,
I will add my fourth grandchild into the collection. So he'll be added in the future books as well.
okay. So how do your children feel about this? That so how they've been receptive to this?
The first thing my oldest daughter said was, "You didn't write any books about us." I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but no, but on a serious note, they are thrilled, they're happy and excited, and the grandchildren, like when they see the books, when they go online and see the characters, my oldest grandson, he'll look and he'll say, "Oh, that's me, and that's you, and that's popcorn and Buddha." So I mean, it's beautiful to watch it all unfold.
Right. Other genres you're working on? You're working on any like board games or anything else with this with the Grandma Storytime series?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if you're just in my mind or what. Like, what's going on here? Actually, I am working on a family game, and hoping to have that released before Christmas. So
Wow.
that's a
Okay.
drum roll for that one. Yeah.
This is amazing. And so what advice would you give grandmothers or parents or people that are wanting to start their own children's book? What's your advice to them?
I would definitely say if this is something that you want to do, believe in yourself, do your research, 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 and research, and just get your team behind you and just make it happen.
Right. Okay. Perfect. So listen, Sophia, if people want to learn more about Grandma's story time, where's the best place they could go to?
Well, they can go to my website at www.grandmastorytime.com. You can also connect with me on Instagram at grandma underscore storytime, TikTok at grandma underscore storytime. My books are on Amazon. You can also go through my website, which will take you directly to Amazon to view
Right.
the books as well.
Perfect. Yeah, very well received so far. So definitely check it out. As Sophia mentioned, it is grandmastorytime.com. And everything on here, everything you need to know about Grandma Storytime and Sophia Brown is right here. So thank you so much, Sophia. Listen, we'll have to make this a regular thing. You're gonna have to come on when you get more books out.
I would
This has been
love
fun
to.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity. This has been great. I enjoy talking to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Well, keep up the good work.